Welcome to the WACO Experience, an American story.
We, the people.
With your host, D. Scott Smith.
In order to form a more perfect union.
Interviews with leaders in business, government, and nonprofit organizations.
Promote the general welfare.
Jobs, products and services, and infrastructure for strong communities. Secure
the blessings of liberty.
The WACO Experience is an American story, a story of communities across America. It is your story.
The cowboy culture, obviously in Texas, as you said, is huge. The cowboy church movement's been big in Texas for decades now, and just watching that, I thought we need to be able to do that with the biker culture.
Today's guest on the WACO Experience, an American story, is Jason Smith from the new church plant, Biker Church Waco. I was introduced to Jason through a friend of mine at a life group picnic. This new church is just getting started, and we will hear about their grand opening coming September 27th. Details about the startup church, location, and service times can be found on their website, bikerchurchwaco.org. And here is my admonition to you. If you are in the area, attend one of their services. If physically visiting this church plant is not possible, then send them a note and let them know that you are praying for them in their ministry. I say this because many years ago, there was a church in our area building a new facility with lots of volunteer help. I would drive by the project on occasion and say to myself, man, I'm glad I'm not involved in that. Never once did I stop to help or even pray for their success or safety. I was convicted that we as Christians need to support each other. Sunday services for Biker Church Waco are at 5 p.m. in China Spring. I'm your host, D. Scott Smith. Each week I bring you stories from leaders in business, government, and nonprofit organizations. You can learn more about this program, our sponsors, and the podcast version of this show by going to our website, thewacoexperience.com. This program is made possible by sponsors like Emma Gaskin, owner of Republic Laser Therapy. Taking time for physical exercise is important, and there are stresses and strains of such activity. I had pain in my shoulder and got scheduled for treatment at Republic Laser Therapy. I went into the office with pain and left with no pain and improved mobility. Call today at 254-433-7790 and on the web, republiclasertherapy.com. Quality cabinets. Your home is an extension of your personality. Smooth, clean, and elegant. Quality Cabinets is the perfect choice for the modern aesthetic. Visit the Design Center at 720 New Dallas Highway in Waco. Quality Cabinets, modern design, everyday comfort. Call 254-744-0938 and visit the website qualitycabinetstx.com. Christian Family Law Solutions is a Christian-based, solutions-focused mediation provider. They help their clients avoid costly litigation and remain focused on the most important priorities in their lives, creating paths for peaceful resolution, not brokenness. Call 254-777-5171 and on the web, 1c6.law. PresentGifting.com. Imagine never forgetting an event for those important people in your life, because relationships are important and moments matter. Present Gifting is a free service to send you gentle reminders of birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, and more. Register today at presentgifting.com. Heart of Texas TV Indoor Billboards. My friend J.B. James Battle, former helicopter pilot for the U.S. Army, and his team at Hot TV amplify your brand where it matters most. Be seen where your customers eat, work, shop, and play. Learn more on the web, hotdigitaltv.com. Ray's Automotive Specialist. My car is my baby. When it needs service, I call Ray. Certified technicians, Christian values. Domestic or import, Ray has you covered. Call 254-495-7810 and on the web at fixmycarray.com. D. Scott here, and today I am on Waco Drive at the Keller Williams Advantage office speaking with Jason Smith. We're going to be talking about the startup church that they have, a new church plant, a biker church. Jason, welcome to the WACO Experience, an American story.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd love to be here. Thank you, Scott.
So let's get right into the biker church,
yes,
because
sir.
That's what we're here to talk about. This is fairly new. So let's get an idea. What is the biker church and how do people find out about it?
At the moment, obviously we've got a biker church going on. When I started thinking about putting this niche ministry together, for lack of better words. We wanted to cater to the biker community, right? So currently we're meeting in China Spring in the Journey Christian Community Building on China Spring Highway. We meet at 5 p.m. on Sunday evenings. I would say at the moment, it's kind of we've got a good mixed bag of folks, a good diversity. I'd say about a third of everyone in there is true bikers. About a third of them own motorcycles. They just enjoy riding. And then a third are just kind of curious seekers, probably never owned a bike, never gonna own a bike, but it's just something like tweak, their interest, so they came to join us.
And you guys are meeting on Sunday evening. Do you have a website? Do you have a website for that?
We sure do. Yeah, bikerchurchwaco.org.
Okay, bikerchurchwaco.org. People can learn about that, find and be reminded of the times when
Yes,
you
sir.
can come and meet. You're meeting out at the Journey facility there.
Correct.
Pretty good support.
Absolutely, yeah. Journey's been our main sponsor all the way through. So we got involved with Nexus, a church planting organization out of Dallas, a couple of years ago when we first kind of started formulating this whole situation. And of course, they're kind of a large reason how Journey got started way back 21 years ago. And so we've had a relationship with Nexus all these years. So obviously, when we wanted to jump in and try to put this biker church together, we got a hold of them. But in order to get started, you got to have some sponsoring churches, of course, obviously, to help financially pull you along, get you started, and supply some board members so you can have your first board of directors, that sort of thing. So, yeah, Journey's been our number one backer ever since the very beginning. Landon Collard and the whole gang over there has definitely been our main support.
And members of the Journey congregation
They sure are
supporting you as well.
They sure are, absolutely. Yeah, we kind of started with a launch team. Landon actually asked the congregation if a few families would go along with us and launch with us to help, kind of support us, get us going, be part of the team, to help, do some of the things that obviously need to do to put a church together every Sunday, greeters, hospitality, the worship team, helpers, that sort of thing, just to kind of help things get started. They didn't have to. We made this deal of, you don't have to stay with us forever if you don't want to. If God tells you to stay with us, absolutely stay with us. But at least help us get started, and then we have. We've had several good families start with us. Been great.
So here in Central Texas, people might be more familiar with a niche church like the Cowboy Church.
Correct.
Tell us about the Biker Church.
Sure, absolutely. Well, I'm glad you brought up the Cowboy Church segment, because ever since Shannon and I got married, my wife and I got married 31 years ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Her parents have been involved in that Cowboy Church movement since the very beginning. They've helped plant 3 Cowboy churches themselves with other families around the Central Texas area. So in the last 31 years, I've kind of watched how that kind of niche ministry kind of works. And I thought, all along, I've kind of thought, wow, if he can do that with a cowboy culture, we ought to be able to do that with a biker culture. So yeah, the cowboy culture, obviously in Texas, as you said, is huge. The Cowboy Church movement's been big in Texas for decades now. And just watching that, I thought we need to be able to do that with a biker culture.
So tell us, what is it like? What's the difference with Biker Church? Why have a separate church?
Sure. I've been involved with the biker culture community my entire lifetime, literally. I mean, we can get into that in here in a little bit if you want to, but I've been around it my entire lifetime. So that whole, mentality, the whole freedom, the whole, misfit toy kind of thought a biker kind of has. I'm on my own. It's just me, man, against the world, man, that kind of thing. So I've always had this draw of wanting to kind of pull those people together, knowing that the way they, whether they look, the way they dress, the way they act, the way they kind of, a lot of them's lifestyle doesn't really fit into most churches. They are kind of feel, kind of offended, not offended. I guess that's not a good word, but don't feel comfortable going into even a non-denominational church, right? They don't have that just thought of feeling of being able to go in there and everybody just kind of staring at them, even whether they are or not, right? It's that thought that everyone's kind of already judging them before they even get started. So they've never felt comfortable about going into any kind of church. So putting an atmosphere, putting this ministry together that would allow them to be, wow, I can go to that and feel welcome. That's why we put it together.
Charlton Heston talked about filming Planet of the Apes, mid-1960s, right?
Yeah.
And they hire all these extras. So they're just random actors. They have no affiliation with each other, except that some of them have certain types of makeup. What he noticed at lunch was that the actors that had all the chimpanzee makeup were sitting at the same table.
Wow.
All the gorillas sitting at the same table. All of the only thing they had in common was their makeup.
Yeah.
But we do tend to want to hang out with people that share values with us, share culture with us, share a lifestyle. And maybe that's part of the draw for the biker church.
It is, yeah. And obviously a good thing, an easy thing for us to do for the invite piece of this church is all I got to do is see somebody with a Harley T-shirt on them. I can go walk up and just start, hey, man, what do you ride? That kind of thing. And, boy, that's the easiest conversation to get started because any guy or gal wants to talk about their bike, right? I mean, they'd rather talk about that than their kids. So they'll jump right out in that conversation. 5 minutes after that, you're your best buds forever, that kind of thing. So it's easy to do the church invite at that point.
So let's talk about your journey into this.
Sure.
You mentioned that you've been involved in church plants for a long time, and the bike community yourself. So let's get the background. How did this all come about?
Sure. I was definitely born into the motorcycle business. My parents had a motorcycle shop before I was born, so I kind of grew up in it. They stayed in that business all the way until Dad retired in 2010. So I grew up in it. If I was not in class, I was at the bike shop, a motorcycle race, a bike show, a swap meet, something, all the time. So I was around that culture, obviously, my entire lifetime. So in 91, we had the ability to come open our own shop, our own Harley-Davidson dealership here in Waco. And so we did that, and that's how I've ended up in Waco all these years. But still, having been around that same culture, stayed in it here in Waco, I've been around those folks my whole life. Now, as far as the church planting goes, even though, growing up, I was around all the motorcycle stuff, just about 24/7. On the Sunday mornings, Mom made sure we were in church. So what a blessing that was. Of course, growing up in a little country Baptist church in those days was great. I mean, I grew up around a lot of influential people, helped give me my base, morals and values and the fruits of the Spirit, saved, baptized as a teenager. And, as I grew up, obviously I've had some valleys in my life, I'll go ahead and admit it. But, as we went along, as Shannon and I got married and had kids and kind of started rolling along, we started getting involved with some ground up, ground zero church plants here in the Waco area. So we kind of also saw how that church plant schematic works. So after seeing that and having been around the biker culture my whole life, I thought, let's just start working on trying to put these two pieces together.
What are some of the key things that people need to know about if they're thinking, we need to spin off from our church, or we're in a community that could benefit from a church?
Sure.
What are some of the key things that people need to know about a startup?
Wow, that's a good one. So the blessing is I've been going to, obviously, a lot of church planting meetings and rallies and getaways, retreats the last couple of years with this Nexus group. And what's fun is we've been getting around other pastors and their spouses who are starting planting churches elsewhere. And there's a hockey niche up in Indiana. There's a couple in Indianapolis, Indiana that are putting together a hockey niche church, and they've already got 50 or 60 people coming to their church just around the hockey sport. There's another couple doing mountain bikes. There's a mountain bike church starting in the Northwest Ozarks of Arkansas. I mean, that little couple has got that thing rolling with several families. And so what's fun is getting around all these people that are really starting to figure out the niche thing of drawing in people that aren't going to go to any kind of traditional or even a non-denominational church, but they'll feel comfortable and get going, and some sort of niche thing around people that, like you said, that look the same, act the same, have the same hobby. You've got a community already. You've already got a community. Why not use that community to your advantage and start trying to get them to obviously understand the freedom of Christ, not just freedom to do whatever you want to do, but start understanding that true freedom is through knowing and loving Christ.
In a startup church, there's going to be a lot of ups and downs.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't want to focus on the downs.
Sure. I
want to talk about what are the things that you see when you're involved in a church plant, and maybe specifically some of the things that you've seen with the biker church here in Waco.
Okay. I'd say number one thing is the excitement. I mean, just the air and the energy, electricity in the air when everybody comes in. It's new, it's exciting. My buddies, I don't think know about this. I get to go, it's an opportunity for everyone to go tell someone about something that hasn't been going on for 20 years. They just kind of discover it and say, I think you ought to come over. It's new, man, I'm here on the ground floor or something, how can you beat that? So that's probably been the number one thing, is just the newness of it, is the electricity, the excitement, the atmosphere of everybody coming in is just excited because it's a new experience. Another thing is there's been a lot of reconnection. There's been bikers running into other buddies, bikers, and man, I haven't seen you in 15 years. You still right? Yeah, we're still come out there, and they'll go out there and look at each other's bike, and man, they're old buds again. There's rekindled relationships.
And I would imagine you see the same thing having owned the bike shop here
Yes.
in Waco. That you're probably seeing folks in church that maybe were your customer.
Correct. A lot. A bunch of them. Yes.
Yeah, and that's got to be a part of the joy.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, and obviously they're not going, what are you doing here? I would never picture you doing this. Look, the blessing is no one said that yet.
Fair enough.
I've had several people say, what took you so long? Why is it taking so long for you to do this? That kind of thing. I was like, it's just, I'll admit I've been dragging my feet. But yeah, just the opportunity to see people that I haven't seen in 10, 15, 20 years that have shown up, and it's been exciting. Yep.
I would imagine also there's more than just the Sunday evening service that you guys are doing other activities.
Correct. Yeah, we've had a couple of gatherings at the lake. We had a couple of baptismal services at the lake specific, and we've baptized 7 people already, and we've only been rolling for a little over 2 months. So to baptize 6 adults and 1 8.5-year-old, that's the whole point of why we're doing this in the first place, is let people be born again through baptism.
And one of the things with having a motorcycle is going on rides.
Oh yeah, we've done that. The biggest problem, Scott, is obviously we started this thing right at the beginning of the summer, and as we talked about a while ago, Central Texas summer it's too hot to really want to do anything outside. So we had one good ride in mid-May, and the weather was kind of screwy that day too. But even though the weather was a little screwy, we had 17 people show up. We rode to Lake Whitney and had a little picnic, turned around, rode back, and enjoyed church together. So that's hard
for
to beat.
People that haven't ridden a motorcycle in Central Texas heat. It's kind of like vacationing inside a convection oven.
That's exactly right. The only thing hotter than Central Texas heat is to be rolling down the road on a motorcycle on the heat coming off the street. That makes it a little, that's even more extreme.
I want to spend some time talking about the future. You guys have been going a few months. What do you see coming up?
So of course right now we're still just trying to figure out, where a pen and paper is. We're still trying to find ourselves, but yeah, as far as moving forward, we have a grand opening launch date of September 27th, the last Sunday in September. We're actually deeming our grand opening, so we've been kind of doing a lot of marketing pieces, a lot of things, a lot of invitation geared around that. Of course, we're still working on our worship team, getting it situated. I think we got a pretty good team put together for that. Obviously, we're trying to finish the team's total, making sure everybody's, on board and has, the launch team's actually got a purpose when they show up on Sundays. Future goals, obviously we want to have our own location. We've been leasing and renting the place from Journey, the JSM building from Journey out there in China Spring. They've been gracious, and we're paying a whole rent of $1 a month. They didn't want to break us, and boy, that is the blessing of all blessings right there, obviously.
That's some of the best rent per square foot anyone's going to find.
Absolutely. So, yeah. But obviously we want to get into our own place. Even when you have that sweet of a deal, and as sweet as Journey is to us, and we're trying to be sweet to them, it is like the in-laws moving in with you. Every once in a while, you're all fighting over the bathroom at the same time. You're fighting over the kitchen at the same things like that. So, yeah, we want to try to get into our own building, because not only do we want to enjoy, obviously, Sunday worship, we just have a lot of plans in mind of what we'd like to do to help out and have a week where we're utilizing the facility all week long for different ministries.
I'm imagining there's some different opportunities around the motorcycle itself. Gosh, I don't know. What if you even had a shop, right, where guys could come and... Right.
That's been one of our number one thoughts, is having an inside shop and not having technicians per se, not having a paid shop, but actually having a work on your own bike type thing. Because when you start thinking about all the expenses that someone has to deal with if they want to work on their own bike, the expensive stuff like their own lift, air compressor, tire machine, a large bank of battery chargers, that sort of thing. To have all that there for people to be able to utilize a bike shop on their own and work on their own bike, is priceless. There's several of those already going around the country in some of the bigger cities that I've been researching for the last couple of years. So yeah, that's been a key component of what we want to do in the future, is actually have a shop inside where people can work on their own bikes.
We started talking about the Cowboy Church and how that's a big movement there's some affiliation there. What about biker churches? Is there a network?
There's not. That's been another dream of mine. One of my visions is to be able to put together, I mean, we wanted to keep our name simple. That's why we went with Biker Church Waco. That way one day it's an easy name to multiply. We can do Biker Church Oklahoma City. We can do Biker Church, Atlanta, whatever. It's an easy name to multiply. And it's so if we can put together a template or a schematic to show people how to put this thing together, here's what we did, and it worked, and here's what we did that didn't work, just kind of go all the do's and don'ts, because obviously Nexus already kind of sets us up with a plan, with a 400-step plan on how to put together a church, but that's for everyone. We're going to have kind of our own subset of do's and don'ts, obviously, for a biker ministry, for a biker church. So that's kind of our dream one day, is to be able to multiply and show someone how to do it. And, the things that work around the biker culture, the different rallies you can go to, the shows you can sponsor, the cookouts you can be the cook team for, things like that. Hit some of the benefits, go to the benefits and be the cooking team, or, whatever, that sort of thing. Be the cleanup team.
We know that all of humanity is looking for something.
Right.
And they're going to find it when they come to Jesus.
That's right.
Your bikers tend to go to big events.
They do.
Where there's a lot of people who are seeking.
A big event that's exciting is little town of Walnut Springs, Texas. There's more people in this building right now than there is the whole town of Walnut Springs, but they're sponsoring a huge motorcycle rally the third weekend of October this year, and all the streets are going to be closed. I mean, it's going to be a small mini Sturgis type experience. And a lot of the big bike show big chopper builder guys are going to be there to sponsor it. A lot of food, it's just going to be huge. So Biker Church Waco is actually going to be a vendor. We're a actual sponsor of this. So we're going to have a booth set up over there, and we haven't figured out what swag we're going to be giving out or what we're going to do. We may be manning a gate or, helping clean up. We don't know exactly what part of teams we're going to be yet, but we're going to be a definite part of that.
Let's talk about how people get involved and support this ministry, this growing ministry, and the vision that you have.
So obviously, Sundays at 5 p.m. is our worship time to come see us and be a part of it. Like you said, we're going to be doing some extracurricular activities real soon. As soon as the weather kind of cools up a little bit, we fully intend to have some more rides, picnics, that sort of things, get-togethers. Another thing, obviously, we've got a lot of people wanting to do the outreach piece. We're very service-oriented, service-minded. That's the one thing about bikers, is they've always had that, that service mentality of anytime they hear of a child that's going through cancer and the family doesn't have health care, the bikers are the first ones to put the benefit together every time. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've seen that. So just moving that mentality into, helping out, being part of the church as well, so the church can help them, and that, just kind of a back and forth church benefit situation. Yeah, as far as helping out, obviously we have a website. There's a giving page on there if you'd like to help out financially. We'd always use the help of that, obviously, because we talked about wanting to get into our own facility one day.
Speaking here with Jason Smith from Biker Church Waco today. We're over at the Keller Williams Advantage real estate office here on Waco Drive. This church is just getting started, but Jason, I would love to just hear that message of hope from your heart to everyone listening.
A big message we preach on Sunday afternoons is the fact that, a lot of times a biker feels that solo, the world's against me. That's just always been kind of a mentality a lot of them have. So what we talk about a lot is how dangerous it is to be that lonesome by yourself, trying to tackle the world by yourself. That's Satan's favorite playground, right? He loves for you to try to do everything by yourself. Whereas if you've got an accountability partner, if you've got somebody you can tag along with, a small group that actually cares about you and wants you to understand that true freedom is in Christ. It's not just the freedom to do whatever. Just being around like-minded people that just want to see, we want to see you discover Jesus. I mean, again, the people that we've been able to baptize so far, there's a couple of them I would have never dreamed we'd be baptized, and it's just been fantastic to see their life change. I mean, they can't. When you discover Jesus for that first time, you can't wait for Sunday to roll back around. So why not have that addictive feeling for other people? Why not have that, that craving to see other people get that way too, to have that same feeling. So that's what our main draw is once you've discovered Jesus and that unbelievable feeling and joy that you have in your heart, and that ability that craving of I can't wait for Sunday to come back around, that craving of trying to get other people in to and watch them and experience that too. That's just Because as we know, that'll carry off into their families and their community and their club brothers. You know, how many times have we seen, you know, just one small piece of a group come to Jesus, the whole group comes. You know, we've been kind of ridiculed at times for not having not starting off with a kids ministry. But our main focus in the beginning, our main vision, our main calling was going after the guys, the biker guys, because every single survey you've ever looked at, you get the dad, you get 80% of the 80% of the times you're going to get the family. If you get the kids, you get 40% chance you get the rest of the family. Moms are somewhere in the middle, about 6%. You get the dad, you're going to get everybody. That's been our main calling.
Well, this is pretty exciting. I'm glad that you have answered the call, starting the biker church here in Waco.
Yes, sir.
You have a vision. We can see this going across the country, like the cowboy church, like the hockey church. Maybe
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Right. There are niches out there. There is a need for this type of church,
Yes, sir.
addressing these specific population groups that maybe don't feel comfortable
Correct.
in a coat and tie.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Although churches are a little more flexible today, but still maybe there's some stigma they might feel, or
There's a psyche there.
Yeah, yeah, it's felt.
Correct.
And so, and always we want in our churches, we want everyone to feel welcome.
Amen.
But creating that environment that allows them to really feel like they're hanging out with their peers, that they're experiencing the same types of issues. And you guys are able to come alongside and be, as we say, God with skin on.
That's right. Amen.
So finish this up. Tell us about, again, what you see for Biker Church Waco and how people can get a hold of you, how they can come and participate. We know Sundays at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, again, we've got some exciting stuff coming up in the fall and the winter, just because obviously the weather's a little better. Being a biker culture, a lot like the cowboy culture, we like being outside. So most of our extracurricular activities, other than Sundays at 5, are built around kind of the weather. And so obviously we're waiting to get a little cooler. We're going to be doing some rides, going to be doing some picnics. Yeah, come and get involved with us. If you've got a relative, if you got a friend, a coworker, a neighbor that rides, and you've always tried to figure out how could I ever get this person to discover Jesus and become involved in church, this is the easiest, best opportunity for them to be involved, is to come to and join us and be a part of this, because we can speak their language. We can walk right out there and talk to them about their bike till it's dark, right after the message. So that's fantastic. We can relate to those guys. We've been all over the place as well. We've put on a lot of road miles. Yeah, we can talk to them about anything on the subject. Yeah, we're excited about what's coming up. Our big grand opening on September 27th. The big rally in Walnut Springs, third weekend of October. Yeah, we'll be getting involved in toy runs, of course, close to Christmas. Probably some Thanksgiving drives, things like that. Yeah, we've just got a lot of cool things coming up. Can't wait. It's going to be fun.
The WACO Experience, an American Story, is a production of D. Scott Smith Company, all rights reserved. Thank you for listening.